There's no music in this movie, which I liked. I didn't miss it. And what I like about it is that it feels more earned. The reaction that you create is more earned, because if you have, like in a horror movie, for example, you just turn on the music louder, and then it's not the scene that scares, it's just the music.
Just the music.
Yeah, and same here with sad music. You're just kind of manipulating people. So I was wondering, how challenging is it to create natural emotions through scenes and acting?
Well, you know, to me it was important to really create, you know, it's great to use music sometimes to create emotions. I mean, I'm not against it. I've done it before. I think it's fantastic. It's part of filmmaking. But, you know, with this film, because of the subject matter, it would have been almost weird to manipulate people. It's not, you know, the three-act, kind of separated three-act, would have been odd to kind of ease things for people to feel a certain way. You know, I would have felt a little bit dishonest. And when I started putting music, well, you know, you always try music to see if it works or not. It felt really fake, you know. And the film really walks a fine line between reality, fiction, between, you know, is it a story, a sci-fi story, or is it really a tale on child custody and motherhood? You know, if you start putting music, you start putting intentions into something. So I feel it was safe, in a way, safer to not put music, you know. It was safer and at the same time courageous, you know, because people get angry at you when you don't put music, because people love to be told what to feel. You know, most people, especially in our society now, they don't want to be left with their own opinion, feelings, and having to deal with anything, you know. They want to be told, because it's also safer for people to watch something where you're like, oh, okay, now I'm crying. You know, you can make people cry with music without having a film. You can make people cry with music. You put some music, people cry. You know, that's how it works. So it was and how do you build emotions without that? You rely completely on dialogue, situations, filming, and actors, you know. And you have to also bring in, fine-tune it, that people are not always crying in the film. People are not always like the whole film, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't have my actors constantly in tears, even though they're going through hell. Because the reality and I've accompanied people who have died in my life a few times, you're not constantly crying. Sometimes you go downstairs and have a bite, or get outside and take some fresh air. And, you know, it's not as linear as people, you know, you're not in constant state of sobbing. You just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you're exhausted mostly. So I wanted to feel that exhaustion more than, you know, you know. And then the third part is something different, like about a very determined, about going against fate, basically, you know.
Right. And there's a scene where ZOE goes like, if nothing is everything, everything could be nothing. Yeah. What's your opinion on that? Because we have all this idea that there must be a sense behind everything, but maybe there isn't.
Yeah, maybe nothing is everything and everything is nothing. To me, you know, actually that came from a conversation with my son when he was 6 years old. Oh, yeah. It's actually a moment I went through with my son when I say to him, you know, maybe nothing is everything. And then he said to me, but maybe everything is nothing.
Oh, wow, all right.
And I was like, wow, my son is special.
Yeah, at the age of 6? Wow.
Yeah. And I realized, you know, the intelligence of children also in very simple moments and very simple, obvious things. You know, there's something great that I love so much about children, is that there is a pure approach to our reality, you know. It's very special. So I put that in the film because to me it was very profound. You know, it's very simple, but it's very profound. The idea that what are we? We're everything for, you know, even our life, like it's meaningless really in the scope of the universe. Yeah. But for example, the life of a child to a mother, it's the whole universe, you know. Right. I mean, you know, at one point she says, you know, I wish I was never born, because I think the pain she's going through is beyond wanting to die. It's not wanting to have ever existed, you know.
Why having a life with that pain, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, It's just unbearable. Sounds like a fun movie to watch. But actually, I don't think the film is a downer. I don't think the film is dark, and not. The film is really a journey more than a depressing movie, I think. To me, you know, when I watch the film, I don't see it as sad. I see it, and also music would have made it really sad. I think the film is really a crazy journey more than anything else. It's a crazy journey towards like the limit of, you know, of basically into a sci-fi film.
Right.
A sci-fi film which will be our reality any day, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know,
creepy, creepy actually.
Creepy or not.
Yeah.
It will be.
Could be both directions.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Yeah. There's this scene, this moment where Isabel is like she doesn't hear back when Zoe is at the water park, and she already thinks the worst. She has that fear.
It's not to announce it. It really is because, as a parent, when you share a child with someone else, you're constantly in a state of anxiety because you don't know what's happening, you don't know where they are. If the parent happens to be a little bit like, you know, leave me alone, it's my time with my kid, you know, you're left with like, you know, no way to know what's happening with your child, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Half her life, you don't know what's going on. So that's shared custody for you, you know, of like this constant anxiety. And I think it would be lying that parents don't check how the kids are doing.
Right, because that will mean you're not interested, and of course you're interested as a parent.
I mean, I'm always checking how my son's doing. I'm constantly you know, just to see. I don't want to know details. I just want to know, yeah, he's fine. You know, that's all.
Julie, thank you so much for your time.